topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV, where we bring you educational information from top local experts in the fields of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Now sit back and listen to experts in family law, association law, hearing loss, business brokers, home care, along with many other topics. Now here are your hosts, Steve-O and Sophia.
Hey, good morning, America. Welcome to another Ask the Expert show, where for the last 16 years, we have been bringing you the top experts in the field of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. You know, I usually have a printed out what I'm going to say to introduce our expert. And I brought it up this morning and I went, screw it. We've been together for about 14, 15 years, and I feel like he's a brother. So I don't need to read anything. We have Barry Fowler with us. He's the president and founder of Taxation Solutions, Inc. I am telling you, and I'm telling you because I read these reports online from people who went with these huge national companies and paid all this money, and then they rarely hear back from them. When you've got a tax problem, you really need somebody you can trust, somebody who's educated, sometimes more educated than the agents. But we have been so blessed to have Barry Fowler in Taxation Solutions. And I really don't endorse any of our experts because I don't think it's fair. But with Barry Fowler, I so endorse him. He is so educated when it comes to the tax laws. And I have never seen anybody who really cares so much about helping people. Let me introduce you to the GOAT, Barry Fowler.
Hey, welcome. And by the way, we have no goats on the ranch. Okay. I said they live too long. Hey, Steve, man, it's great to be here. And I actually enjoy coming on this program. Somebody asked me the other day why I do Ask the Experts, because we're giving out too much information. I went, well, one, I enjoy it. I enjoy talking with Steve-O, on air and getting information out to people, all across the country, to be able to help them make the right decision on, not only how to settle their tax debt, but if you're going to go with somebody, which I always recommend having representation, choosing the right company for representation as well. So it's information out there. Now, I got a question for you. Did you make a New Year's resolution this year?
Barry, I stopped doing it because they never lasted. So I just said, screw it. I'm not going to move them anymore. Why did you?
No, absolutely not. I was listening to the radio the other day, and they told me that most New Year's resolutions were already broken by the 9th or 10th of January. So, why do something for 10 days you can't do for all year? But our company made a resolution that we make every single day and every single year, and that is to help people as quick as possible to get their lives back in order and get the IRS off their back. And that's a resolution we keep regardless, day in, day out. Doesn't just last the first 9 days of the month. It lasts all 365 days every year, resolving tax problems for people. And that's why we don't make resolutions personally, but we make resolutions as a company-wide organization to be better every single year.
Barry, you know what? I don't know what is tougher on somebody than having the IRS after you. That has got to be so much burden on a person every day wondering what the IRS is going to do to them. And I was thinking the other day, Barry, I was thinking about this at Christmas time. What a great gift. Just say you've got a brother or a sister or a father that's having IRS problems. What a great gift to give them to get taxation solutions incorporated involved in their problems. What a gift that would be, huh?
That would be an excellent gift. I mean, that's a great gift for the new year, anytime, Valentine's, Easter. You don't need a holiday to do it. Just pick a day. Wednesday's a good day. Today's Wednesday. Let's make it your resolution to help your family. Now, I'm going to tell you, you know what's worse than the IRS being on you? The Texans defense. Man, that's an awful. Ask Aaron Rodgers, man. Texans defense is tough. Now, that is the way we represent you, like the Texans defense. We are tough on the IRS, and we're going to be rough and going after them. I don't care where they have the ball. We're going after the IRS to stop them from doing the things that they think they can do to you. Get us as your representation. Let us be the defense. Let us do what we need to do to move the IRS away from the goal line and provide you the best defense possible. But it takes calling us at 877-996-6477. Again, 877-996-6477.
Barry, I talk about people, how they handle their life is how they handle their business. And what I've always been in awe of is you are such a great family man. Barry's son was this great baseball player. And it seemed like every time we talked, Barry was going to his son's game, whether it was in town or out of town. And he handles his business the same way he handles his family life. And I've never complimented you on that. We've talked about your son playing baseball, how you were always there. And once in a while, you'll bring up your wife and how she's given you ideas. And you just, you run your business like they call the Jewish religion a mensch.
Stephen, thank you very much, man. I appreciate that. And the funny part is I've done radio, I think, with you. I've done radio with some of the stations that Ask the Experts have been on over the years. And I've done it not just here in a studio or in our office, but I've done it on the baseball field while my son was playing. So we're dedicated to helping people, as well. And I mean, if that means I've got to take a little bit of time to do an interview for somebody while I'm at a baseball game, watching my son. Now, hey, he's graduated college, finished playing baseball in college, didn't move on. I wish he would have made to the pros, but he chose a different path and is going into physical therapy. My daughter used to be in swim until she graduated high school, and then she was dedicated to her college degree at pre-vet. So she's, stopped doing that. So now all we get to do is help people across the country. And I don't do it at swim meets, and I don't do it at baseball games. I do it here at the comfort of the office where it's warm or where it's cooler than it is outside. But the main thing is we get to help people and help them find that solution to their problem, whatever that solution needs to be. But it's the best solution possible.
Barry, I know how important customer service is to you. And I bring that up because, again, reading these letters online, people who paid so much money to these big companies, you're actually paying for their national advertising, but people say they don't return phone calls. And, one guy said it took 2 months to get a call back. And that is the norm with these big companies, these big ads you see, because there's so many letters online. Customer service is so important to you.
Well, you know, I guess I consider my staff to be the GOAT of customer service. You know, speaking of goats, they're the greatest at it. I mean, they're calling people every month, at the very least once a month, to give them an update on what their case is at, what we're doing, to gather information if we need it. Now, if we're needing information, they may be calling them once a week. They may be calling them more than that if the IRS needs things quicker and we're not getting the customer to move and get us the information that we need. So, you know, we're always on top of our clients to make sure that, hey, you got to be and want to be aware of what somebody that's representing you is doing for you. You don't want to be ignored. You don't want people to just set it aside and say, oh, well, this will just have to do. No, we want you to know, hey, this is pending. We have a hold. Here's when the hold's running out. And then that hold gets close to running out. If we haven't gotten the information we needed, they're calling you and saying, hey, this is the case. Or if the hold ran out, hey, we're in the process of getting another hold and doing these things to help you to get these things done. Or, hey, maybe your offer is pending. And, you know, if your offer is pending, it may be 6 months before the IRS starts processing it. We're still making you aware that it's still pending. We still are aware of where the IRS is with this case, even if they're doing nothing, so that you can be aware and feel good that, hey, somebody is watching this and they're really on top of what they need to be done and what the status is today. Not, hey, we hope it's still there. No, we check, we verify.
You know, Barry, I got to say this because people who've never dealt with the IRS, you have literally dealt with thousands of clients over the years. And, you know, we always get emails going, we love Barry's stories. Tell people, because you talk to these people, and I'm sure they share with you what it's been like, you know, having the IRS after them. And they're in your office now and they sign up and they now can rest at ease now. Can you share a couple stories that people have told you, some of the horror stories they've told you by not having someone like Taxation Solutions?
You know, the one just this week, somebody was calling, and actually the poor lady, she was actually in tears talking to somebody on my staff, and they went, you know, can you talk to her and calm her down? I went, well, tell me what's going on. And in her case, her account got levied. She wasn't able to make her car payment and other stuff that was due, you know, this week. And so I was like, well, you know, we can try to calm her down. We can try to help her. You know, basically we came down to it and talked with her and said, hey, look, this is what needs to be done. This is what we can do. We can get you some of this money back to where you can make your car payment and do this. It's going to take a little bit of time, but you called us in the nick of time, because if you would have waited another week to call us, there wouldn't have been anything I could do to probably get that money back from the IRS. They were going to keep it. And so, you know, we're working currently with the revenue officer to get them to release funds to cover her car payment, her insurance payment. They're actually end up releasing all the funds back to her. So she went from a tearful Monday to a cheerful morning this morning. So, you know, it was actually a good morning for us. We started really early this morning. I was here, you know, at 7 a.m., already working on what we were going to do, put the phone calls in on the revenue officer, sent her the information we needed, and we got that commitment from the revenue officer who's sending to the bank to release the money. Now, unfortunately, you know, the bank is keeping about $250 for the trouble of enforcing that levy, but she is getting all of her money back besides what the bank fees are. Now, what could have prevented that? calling us before you even got to that point of that levy. We were talking with some people last week, and they've got a threat of wage garnishment. We've got 30 days before they're going to be starting the garnishment of their wages. And so, we're taking them on as a client, and we're trying to move quickly to prevent that wage garnishment, even if that means setting up a small payment plan to where they got time to straighten things out and decide, hey, are we going offering compromise? Are we doing a partial pay installment agreement? What are we going to do to put the final solution in place? We just needed time. And waiting adds the stress and the pain and the anxiety of the weight of the IRS coming down on you. And that's why we always tell people, hey, this is a free call, free consultation. Even if you don't want to use us, gather the information from us. Call us at 877-996-6477. Let us at least talk about it. Figure out what's going to be a possible solution, even if it's just starting with a tax analysis, to gather the information, because maybe there's other solutions out there. But it's got to start with you making that phone call to us at taxationsolutions.net at 877-996-6477. Even if it's, not your debt, maybe it's somebody in your family, give them that phone number. Let us at least talk to them, give them some guidance, free call, free consultation. You can't beat that price.
Barry, from these letters, we've talked about this many times. I was surprised about, I know you're not, but I was surprised about all the people who are so embarrassed at the situation they're in. And instead of doing something about it, they just sit there embarrassed. And I think, we talk about this all the time. You came up with this phrase, no judgment zone. And that is so true. This is all Barry's company does. He's seen thousands of people with tax problems. And as bad as you think yours is, he's seen much worse. But I thought that was the greatest slogan, the no judgment zone.
Well, realistically, that's what people need, is someplace they can call and feel confident that somebody's not going to belittle them, make them feel bad because they have tax debt, or, whatever the reason is. Hey, we care. We want to know, because maybe it's a reason to get penalties abated. Maybe there's some good reasons to fight what the IRS has done to you or is doing to you. But we don't want you to feel bad about it. We want you to come to us and say, here it is, lay it all on the line. Here's what happened. Hey, we don't care whose fault it is, but if we can figure out how it's the IRS's fault, we're going to turn it back on them and we're going to fix it. Maybe you went through an audit and you lost because you didn't give them the information that you actually have. Let us go back and we'll appeal the audit or do an audit reconsideration and get that audit overturned. Now, if we look at it and go, hey, the IRS is right, then, hey, so be it. Then we got to find a solution to the debt that gets you back, your life back, to where you can live your life without wondering who's coming up behind you to take all your money. Because, hey, as much as they send you letters and people ignore them, once they send you that letter that they have the right to levy your bank account, they can sneak up and levy that bank account anytime they want. They don't have to notify you every single time. They just do it once. That's what's required by law. And then they levy whenever they feel like it. And that's not something I, as a taxpayer or as a human being, would want to have sitting on my shoulder, not knowing when they're going to ever take my money. And you may feel really confident for a while, and all of a sudden they, bam, take your money. So you got to get the solution. You got to figure out who's going to defend you, who's going to go on offense for you to go after the IRS, and that can put them in their place and get things done.
Barry, we always ask you to write us an email if you have a question. It's really tough for me to take calls, look at the chat line, and look at the text. So we ask you to send your questions in. And I think this is one of my favorites for this show. This is from Carl in Miami. He wants to know, does the IRS look down on you if you hire a company like your expert? Not mainly them, but a tax relief company. Does the IRS look down upon you?
Well, when the IRS finds out you hired taxationsolutions.net, they shake in their boots. They don't look down, they fear. I'm just being funny on that one, but no, you have a right to representation. If you talk to a revenue officer, they'll tell you, hey, don't worry about it. We got you covered. We can help you. If you talk to one of the revenue agents, the same thing. You don't need it. We will help you. And I've said this before. Ronald Reagan said it best: when the government says, I'm here to help and I'm from the government, you run, and you run quick. And that's when you hire taxationsolutions.net to make sure that you got representation. You get to know what your rights are. You know that we know what the IRS can and cannot do, how the IRS can do it, how they can't do it, when they're trying to get away with things that they shouldn't be, and how to put them in their place, and give you that defense against the IRS so that, we stop them from coming after you. We stop them from going after your money, and we start working on the solution to your case, whatever that solution may be: offering compromise, partial pay installment agreements, non-collectible status, maybe just fixing the debt because the IRS is absolutely wrong, and we've seen that too. And then penalty abatement. We know how to come up with the reasons and work with you for what happened so that we have good reasons to get penalty abatement. So all these things become what's in our arsenal of defending you and taking the offense against the IRS.
This is a really nice text. Larry in Nashville, he wants to know, I just found your show for the first time. I will become a long-time listener. I know you've probably talked about this in the past, but if I sign with your company, can you walk me through what happens the day I come through your doors? That's a good question.
Well, hey, Larry from Nashville, first thing that happens is we step into your boots. You sign that power of attorney with us to defend you against the IRS. We now step right into your boots, and they only deal with us. That's a first relief you get immediately, knowing that somebody else is going to deal with the IRS on your behalf. The second thing that happens, if you've got a revenue officer, we're calling the revenue officer, letting them know we're representing you, and they need to call us and us only and start getting information on your case. We run a complete tax analysis on you, your tax problem, to figure out exactly where the problem is, what we need to do, and start putting the steps together. Then we go and make sure that we have all the holds in place that need to be there, start gathering all your information, and we start moving it down the path to your solution to your problem. And everybody's solution can be different and is different. We don't use a cookie cutter approach. We don't sell every single person to say, hey, you get an offering compromise, you get an offering compromise, you get an offering compromise. We're not Oprah. You actually have to go through and qualify to get an offering compromise with the IRS. So if you're talking to somebody else and all they're doing is saying, yeah, you get an offering compromise, remember, they picked up the next phone and they went the same thing for the other person. And at the end of the day, they did nothing to qualify you to say you qualify for this offering compromise. They just wanted to sell you what you wanted to hear, that pipe dream. Everybody wants a free TV. Everybody wants this free or that free. It does not happen. And offering compromises are not for every single person. So you kind of got to watch what you're getting out there and saying. And I know I jumped off into a tangent out there, Larry, but the main thing you need to know is the day you come to us is the day your protection starts. As soon as we get that power of attorney signed and backed from you, we are now stepping into your boots and representing you. And if the IRS calls, you're going to have a card from us that says, hey, call Mr. Fowler here at taxationsolutions.net. He represents me, leave me alone, and hang up the phone. Now, how good would that feel? It's like hanging up on one of those scam calls. You feel good. And it used to be you could slam your phone down, but now you're sitting there on an iPhone and it's $1,000 phone. You won't slam it down. You just get to hit end. So it doesn't feel as good as the old fashioned ones.
I want to direct this, Barry, to people who think that they can either handle this themselves or they can stick those letters in the drawer and the IRS is eventually going to go away. The first thing is they're not going to go away. I've learned that from Barry. And I got to tell you, maybe share a story with somebody who tried to handle this on their own and really messed it up.
Well, we've gotten some people that have actually called us and came to us and said, hey, I did an offer and compromise all by myself. Okay. And why are you calling? What can we do for you? Well, I heard on the radio that I shouldn't do this myself, so I'm calling you to tell you I did it myself.
Oh,
great. Thanks. I'm glad to hear it. But they rejected it. Okay. And they told me that I did this all wrong and I have enough money to full pay and all I was doing is delaying them. Well, that creates a different problem because using offering compromise or other solutions just for delay tactics is frowned upon by the IRS and increases collection activity. Amazing. Imagine that. So it's like, okay, well, let's talk about it. And, he was making, low six figures. And I'm like, who ever told you should do an offering compromise? Well, I just knew it was out there and I was talking to this other company and they said I would qualify. So I decided to do it myself. What did they vet you, talk about your income, talk about your assets, talk about anything? No. They just told me I'd qualify. So I decided I am smart enough. I can DIY it and get it done because I've DIY'd other things and got it done. I said, oh, okay. Well, you're going to get an installment agreement and, here's what we can do and other things we can do. But the main thing is we've got to stop this harsh collecting activity that's now happening because they're coming after you. He goes, yeah, I know. They already levied my bank account. They've already done this and done that. DIY doesn't always work. You need representation. You need to have somebody tell you, hey, this is where it needs to go and this is what we need to do. And they got to be blunt, even if it offends you, that because somebody else said you qualify without vetting you and running the numbers, that, hey, somebody's got to give you something in reality. If you want to pay for the pipe dream, pay for it. But if you want reality, man, have somebody that's going to go through that free consultation with you and talk about what your problem is and what the possible solutions are. And even if we got to run a tax analysis first, at least you can come back to and we get you your whole package and say, this is the end solution. You can decide at that point, hey, maybe I can go do it by myself. We'll give you some guidance and tell you what you need to do. We will also tell you, hey, maybe you're better off doing it with us. Or we'll tell you, hey, this is simple enough. Just go do this and you got a payment plan and it works. So you kind of got to watch out when you're getting into DIY. They will also hit you for any delay tactics. And if you don't meet their deadlines and you have a revenue officer, they're coming after you to levy. I don't mean to scare people, but that's what their job is If you think about it, the IRS is purely about enforcement. It's really not about customer service and helping you. It's about helping get more money to the IRS, more money to the federal government. Our government's broke. We all know that. And there's not enough money coming in to pay what money goes out. So where are they going to get it? They have to get it from you and I as taxpayers. And if you're not paying, they're coming after even more money from you with penalties and interest. So let's get a solution to it.
Barry, I told you I'm going to start doing what I call my email of the month with you. And I thought this one was so good because I know there's other people out there like this. This is from Trey in Raleigh, North Carolina. He said, I hired a firm that charged me an arm and a leg and has done nothing. After hearing several of your shows, can I get out of my agreement to hire your company?
Well, that's a big question. Yes and no. I mean, if you stop paying them, then you're going to be out of your agreement because they're going to discontinue working for you. If you hire us, most companies have a clause in their contract that if somebody else submits a power of attorney to the IRS, it automatically revokes theirs, so they would stop representing you. There are some companies out there who will try to enforce those contracts with you, but if they haven't done much, they're not going to probably enforce it in any way, shape, or form. Will you get money back? Read your contract. Most contracts for most companies say there are no refunds, and it's going to be really hard to get any money back from them. So you're out the money that you've paid them. But if you do hire a company, make sure you're always in contact with them. If they're not calling you at least once a month, get on the phone and call them yourself. Be that much involved in your case to understand what they're doing, how they're doing it, and why they're doing the things they're doing. So that, hey, you're always knowledgeable of what's going on. Now, when you're dealing with us, the first thing we tell you is we're going to be in contact with you. We're going to be calling you pretty rapidly as we go through this case. And then we're going to be, if anything's being delayed because of the IRS or holds, there may be 30 days that we don't be in contact with you, but then we're going to follow up with you, let you know where we're at. We'll let you know if we're needing things. We're going to be constantly calling and saying, hey, we need this. And if you say, hey, I'm going to get it to you in 2 weeks, 2 weeks is up and you hadn't gotten it, we're going to be calling you. Because one, we want to help you get the solution. Two, we've got deadlines ourselves that we get with the IRS that we've got to get information from you and then work with them. So make sure whoever you're dealing with is somebody you can constantly be in contact with as needed. Now, it doesn't mean call them every day. Doesn't mean every day your case is going to change and you need to know something from the IRS. And no, there are windows that, hey, we've got holds. We're working on stuff here at the office, gathering things from you, putting documents together so that we can forward to the IRS and put it in the best light possible to help you get that solution. But, what I tell you is call us. And if you're thinking of going with somebody else and you've already called them and they've given you a price, don't sign today. Call us at Taxation Solutions at 877-996-6477. Again, 877-996-6477. Or you can go right over to taxationsolutions.net and you can see that we have an A+ rating at the BBB. And let us give you a quote. Let us give you an idea of what's going to happen. We can compare apples to apples. What are they talking about doing for you? And then what do you truly qualify for? And maybe they'll give you a better price. Maybe they'll give you something that is a pipe dream. And we're going to tell you that too, that this just isn't right. And we're going to give you the reasons. You may still want to go sign up for the pipe dream. God bless you. Good luck to you. It's not something we recommend. But hey, give us the opportunity to at least give you some reality to your life.
Hey, Barry, we have to remind people you've got this incredible show you do on W4CY every Monday at 10 o'clock Eastern.
We do. It's Tax Talk for You. This last Monday, we were talking about New Year's resolutions and tax solutions. So, Taxation Solutions is giving you the solution to your tax problem. And, we were, as we started off this show talking about, did you make a resolution? We were talking about our resolutions and, resolutions with the IRS. As a matter of fact, speaking of resolutions, just this week, I wish I could hold them up and show you, but they have taxpayer names and numbers on it. But I've got letters of clients that we have solutions put in place, from partial pay installment agreements to a couple of offer and compromises where we settled huge amount of debts for less than what they owe. So actually, this was started out as a beautiful week with the letters coming in. I guess they came in late yesterday, and I got them. Saw them on my desk here this morning when I came in, and I was like, "Hey, this is cool. I got to get these up." Oh, I can't do that. I can't show them on Ask the Experts. I can talk about them, but I can't show them. So, it's a great day for resolution. It's a great day for taxation solutions, and it's a great day for about 6 of our clients that we were able to get some solutions in their place. Hey, speaking of reminders, January 15th is coming up. If you're a contractor, independent contractor, or somebody that's subject to making estimated tax payments, your estimated tax payment is due. If you have offer and compromise or installment agreements that are needing management approval, if you're required to make estimated tax payments, you better make them, because they can kick the offer out if you don't make them. So, hey, that's my public service announcement. If you have estimated tax payments coming up, get those in. It's January 15th coming up, and that's a due date for estimated tax payments for the last one for 2025. So, got to have a PSA here every now and then, don't we?
Yeah. Well, I got to tell you, what's the expression? There's people out there who can walk the walk. You really do walk the walk. And I'm going to tell you, I always think about this. Write this down, folks. www.irsplaybook.info. Barry developed this playbook, and it just shows he's always trying to help other people. I never see any of these other big, and I got to tell you, Barry has got a big company. He services people all over the United States, but you developed this IRS playbook. You didn't have to do that.
No, I didn't, Steve. Hey, I got good news about that the other day. And I haven't been able to verify it because I've been trying to find out how to verify it. But my publication company told me we had over 150,000 hits on that playbook.
Wow.
Just in the last, I think, 2 or 3 months. And it's only been out, I don't know, 4 months, 5 months, somewhere in there. I don't remember when we put it out there. It's our 3 simple steps that we use to stop the IRS collections and get a plan in place to solve tax debts. And so, Meg, my wife, told me, oh God, I'm sorry, I wasn't supposed to give her credit anymore. Anyway, she told me, she goes, you do these programs and everything else. Why don't you do something that would help people if they can just, if they find it. If they don't want to use us, it's a place we can refer people to so they can get the information to find out how to solve their tax debt, because there's so many DIY people out there and they want to do it themselves. That's the place to start. And it's irsplaybook.info. And, it's information to help you get started. Now, you may not want to be a do-it-yourselfer. But you want to know what we're going to go through and what we're kind of going to do. It's a great place to get a start and get gather information. I know I like to gather information all the time. And, whether I'm trying to do my own plumbing or my own electrical work that my wife ends up calling the plumber or the electrician to fix after I'm done. And I end up costing myself more money because I created more problems because I tried to do it myself. But hey, sometimes we're all like that, and we think we can do something that is going to solve a problem, and it ends up being a bigger problem than where we started with. And sometimes do it yourself does that. Other times it works beautifully. And, it's kind of one of those situations where we sit down and we talk about your tax problem with you. And if it's something that we think you should be able to do it yourself, and it's really simple, and here's what it's going to be, we're going to tell you, hey, do this, this, and this, and it's going to get it done for you. And it's going to be the same as we're going to be able to do based on your situation. We try to help. We're not here just to take your money. We're here to be of assistance to you to get your life back in order.
Gary, we're getting ready to launch a new show for business brokers. We're going to have a lot of business people, business owners that are going to be joining our show. We always talk about individual taxpayers, but you do a lot with businesses. Can you talk about that?
Hey, Steve, well, first off, I'm going to talk about your business brokerage and brokers and everything. If you're going to buy a business and you're buying, the shares of the company or the stock of the company or, whatever it is, you want somebody also to verify that they have no IRS tax problems.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you buy the shares of the company or take over ownership of the company and they have a tax problem, whether it's late filing fees or non-payroll tax payments, you as new owner of that business become subject to those taxes. So you need to have somebody do a verification and background that there are no taxes owed if you're going to buy the actual business and not just the assets of the business. So that's something to be fully aware of as you're going through this. But, businesses have problems, whether they're 1120Cs, which is a C Corp, and you don't pay your taxes or whatever, but every business that has payroll could have payroll tax problems. You need cash flow. Inflation was really high under the former president. And now, you couldn't keep up with your cost of goods sold. So the easiest place was pulling it out of payroll. You didn't make your payroll tax payments. Guess what? Man, you get hit with payroll tax penalties. You may get hit with trust fund penalties. All these things are there. Maybe you didn't file your corporate returns on time, 1120S. 1065, 1120s. You don't file those on time, guess what? There's penalties that are out there. And they're not just small penalties, they're substantial penalties. Maybe your tax preparer didn't know or wasn't aware that you were filing or supposed to be filing as a 1120S, an S Corp. That's laid out in your employer identification number. You don't file that S Corp and you file it as a Schedule C, and you're getting hit with penalties because you should have filed it as a S Corp. We've seen new businesses get started up and they file their SS4, which gets their employer identification number, and they didn't read the employer letter with that EIN number on it, and it told them they had to start making payroll tax payments and filing payroll tax forms. Now, those forms are due whether you hired anybody or not. There wouldn't be any taxes due, but they will issue you penalties for not filing those forms, even if they're zero forms. We've seen new startups that, hey, you go and get your S Corp status and it take effect this, in 2025, but you didn't do business in 25. You started your business really in 26. You're still required to file the 2025 tax return or maybe it was 2024 and you just filed in 25. They're now looking for 24s, and there's penalties for that too. So there's all kinds of things that hurt and go against your business. And we help put solutions in place, maybe get penalties waived, get things done to help make your life simpler and get your business back running on the right foot. We got a client that just signed up last week who didn't file 941s for 2024, 2025, didn't even make their tax payments. Now the IRS is all over them. They have a revenue officer who's threatening to shut them down. We're stepping into the shoes there and stopping that revenue officer from doing a shutdown and keeping the business going while we find the solution to their tax problem, get it in their quarterly forms filed, and getting as much payroll taxes paid as possible out there. So at least getting the trust fund part of it paid so they don't have the trust fund penalties. It doesn't alleviate the regular penalties, but it does alleviate the owners and managers, anybody that's a signer on the account, from being hit with trust fund penalties.
We just got a text in, Barry. Do you want to know, do you have an office in Birmingham, Alabama? And if so, he's getting ready to go through an audit. Do you assist people with an audit?
Yes and yes. We assist people with audits. We have a remote office there in the Birmingham area. We only use that office really for meeting with the IRS when we need to. We've got contractors or enrolled agents that work with us around the country that help us when we need to in remote areas, but we would give you all the guidance and everything that you need. First thing I would tell you is call us at 877-996-6477. Let us help you get started. Hey, Steve, well, one thing I did have somebody text me that wanted to know what an offer and compromise was really quick. And I know we're running short on time, but the offer is actually an agreement with the IRS that allows you to settle your tax debt for less than the full amount that you owe. Not everybody qualifies for them. There are three main reasons you can get an offer, and that's doubt to collectability, doubt to liability, or an effective tax administration. We've used all three of those type of things to get people solutions. The one thing everybody, and I know this is really putting this into a really small nutshell, so it's not really an in-depth explanation. We probably need to go through that maybe next show. You've got to make sure you stay in compliance from the day that you file it till 5 years after it has been accepted. You've got to make sure you filed all your tax returns. You can't be in bankruptcy, and you got to be current on your estimated tax payments all the time if they are required. So it is a long process, a long time to do it, but we can help you with that. Call us at 877-996-6477. Sorry, I had the guy text me and I said, man, I got to get this out here as quick as possible. And see, that comes from somebody that was on our show before here with taxtalk4u.com. And then I also listen here at Ask the Experts, because we follow you Mondays. You're on at 9 a.m. Eastern time.
Yeah.
We're right after you at 10 a.m. Eastern time on W4CY radio. So,
and that show is like one of our, first of all, long running, but it's also one of our largest audiences. And Barry, I got it.
It's perfect timing, man. Just follow us see us right after they get done seeing you.
I got to tell you, you do such a great job with your show, and you're on every Monday. You're with us twice a month. Barry, I got to tell you, and I'm not sucking up. It's so easy doing your show thanks to the audience, but I'm just so glad that we have you. You're the best when it comes to tax relief, and we'll see you next month.
Hey, I appreciate it. Thanks. I always enjoy Ask the Experts. Maybe I need to have you on Tax Talk for You, and I will interview you for once.
That would be amazing.
It would. Hey, thank you very much again. Everybody have a God bless, glorious week. Find us at taxationsolutions.net. We are A+ rated from the BBB. Thank you, Steve. Thank you to W4CY Radio. Man, it's great to be here.
See you next month, Barry. Hey, it's Barry Fowler, Taxation Solutions. That's going to do it for us today. Hey, we'll be back again with you next week with more Ask the Experts.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Tune in next week and every week to hear more from our experts on personal injury, insurance, air condition repairs, estate planning, Medicare, and many other topics in the areas of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. See you next week.